The West is highly concerned about Russia's nuclear weapons movements. In fact, the United States and the West have been concerned about the possibility of Russia using nuclear weapons. Biden, including the current U.S. administration, is not willing or able to fight a world war with Russia. Biden's original statement was that a world war would be a nuclear war, a disaster for all mankind. According to the annual report released by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, in Sweden on June 13, the number of nuclear warheads worldwide will be 12,705 by the beginning of 2022. The number one country with nuclear warheads is Russia, with 5,977, and the United States, with 5,428, is in second place. Currently, Russia and the United States have the largest nuclear arsenals in the world. This largest nuclear arsenal refers not only to the trinity of nuclear strike platforms, but also to the number of nuclear warheads. Both sides, despite several rounds of strategic arms reductions, still have several thousand nuclear warheads, so these warheads are so large that they can destroy the Earth, not to say, at least the other countries several times. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union both had the world's largest trinity of nuclear strike forces, so this trinity of nuclear strike forces, from a worldwide perspective, only the United States, Russia, and China have. The United Kingdom and France once also had such a strike force, but now they are basically left with sea-based nuclear strike forces. The situation in Russia and Ukraine has suddenly become tense as 4 regions of Ukraine have been publicly committed to Russia. The Nord Stream gas pipeline has been blown up, and Ukraine has continued to counterattack on the battlefield, recapturing strategic locations such as Kharkov and Lyman one after another. The governments of the United States, Denmark, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria and Estonia have informed their citizens to leave Russia as soon as possible, and Russia itself has urgently purchased 5 million rubles of radiation protection drugs. Once again, the cloud of nuclear war looms over the heads of all mankind. Since October, many media outlets have been following and tracking the information. U.S. Newsweek quoted anonymous U.S. Defense Department officials as saying that the U.S. considered a variety of options for response and counterattack if the Russians dared to use nuclear weapons, even including plans for strikes against Russia's military and political leadership. Italian media outlet La Repubblica reported that NATO informed its member states that the Russian nuclear submarine Belgorod disappeared from its base inside the Arctic Circle and may be headed for tests near the Kara Sea. British media outlet The Times reported that NATO alerted its member states that Russia will conduct nuclear tests on the Ukrainian border. The report also said that Putin sent a nuclear war military train to the Ukrainian frontline in preparation for a major escalation of the conflict in Ukraine. According to the British Guardian, Petros, a retired U.S. Army 4-star general and former director of the Central Intelligence Agency CIA, said he discussed with U.S. National Security Advisor Sullivan the possibility of a U.S. response to a Russian nuclear arms escalation. The U.S. would destroy the Russian military if Putin dared to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. The gap between the U.S. and Russia in military power is very, very large, and from the recent performance of Russia on the battlefield, it is relatively far from the second military power in the world. We must face up to such a thing. After the Crimean crisis in 2014, with the sanctions imposed on Russia by the West, coupled with the volatility of energy prices, Russia's economic situation is not particularly good and the economic pressure is very high. Now that the US and the West are imposing sanctions on it beyond their historical limits, Russia's economy is even more embarrassed. Now, Russia is being cornered step by step, and the very important reason is that there are some problems with the domestic economic support. You imagine how hard it is for Russia to fight against the entire Western world by itself. It's not really how great Zelensky is, it's just that Ukraine has received a steady stream of transfusions and support, as well as all kinds of advanced weapons. All of this has put enormous and unparalleled pressure on Russia. Why would Russia state that he wants to use nuclear weapons? Obviously, Russia wants to warn the West that if you push us any further, we will use nuclear weapons. Once nuclear weapons are used, that means there is no way back for Russia, because the United States and its allies will not sit idly by. Once nuclear war breaks out, everything is incalculable. In short, with the dark cloud of nuclear weapons looming over the world, I hope all forces will exercise restraint and ensure the hard-won peace. Well, that's it for today's video. Feel free to post comments and suggestions in the comments section. See you next time.